Well, howdy do, y'all. Happy National Beer Day to you. I don't typically drink on a Tuesday, well, because I work tomorrow and don't bounce back like I used to. And some of you are going to take offense to my non-craft beer, the beer snob elite, but there's a reason for it. Come on, cut me some slack. A couple reasons. One, well, my wife went shopping. DAV store, they had some specials last weekend. And she found me some glassware, and I dig any kind of glassware. But everybody knows, everybody, it's a scientific fact that a beer tastes better out of its logo glass. And she found this really cute half-pint glass. I'm assuming it's a half-pint glass. Look at that, that's adorable, is it not? And then it's very hot and humid today. It's about 80 and humid as a sumbitch out here. So I wanted that kind of, that Tijuana hooker beer, something that goes down fast and easy, doesn't cost much, and don't ask questions. So here we go. Oh, wow. That ain't bad at all. There was a time when this was really thought of as a great beer. There was a time when it was one of the best beers on the shelf. Of course, us beer geeks don't think that now, but I still think there's a time and place for it. No, if you thought I was going to chug it, I don't chug. I can't chug, actually. I did in my youth quite a bit, but I don't see a purpose for it. Just get you drunk faster, and who needs that, man? You enjoy the scenery. That, and I've had acid reflux so bad over the last 20 years that my throat won't allow me to chug. And those of you with chronic acid reflux know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you may think I'm bullshitting you, but I ain't. I wish I had this a tad colder. It was pretty cold coming from the store, but it's very hot. So I did put it in the freezer for about 5 minutes. I should have waited about 15, because I would like this just a tad colder. But deciding what I should do for National Beer Day, I'm going to have a couple. I'm going to have a couple, 3 actually. Like I said, don't typically drink on a Tuesday because I just don't bounce back like I used to. But this is my very first one of the day. So I'm trying to decide if I should do just separate videos for each beer, just one long one, just splice them all together for National Beer Day. And I think that's what I'm going to do. There's a couple I'm going to repeat that I've already done specific videos for, but I thought we'd do some videos just talking about the beer day, baby. And since I started with this one, I'll open up the topic of how far beer has come. When this was, I remember in the 70s, before I was old enough to drink, my brother was drinking Heineken and Heineken Dark and Beck's Dark, and those were the beers that were thought to be great at the time. Was Lowenbrau, when Lowenbrau first came over before it became a Miller product, and then not again. It was an import. It was a great American beer. If you remember the commercials, trying to remember all the commercials. I think what was weekends were made for Michelob, and I think what was Lowenbrau. I can't remember the slogan. Now somebody will text it to me or put a message in there. Oh, there we go. So they got a little one go Knights or belong to Lowenbrau or something. These were basically the going out beers of the time. Michelob, of course, was an ABM product, but that was thought to be better Bud. Better Bud. Well, high class Bud is what all the adults referred to it at the time. High class Bud. Lowenbrau, Michelob. These weren't beers that typically people drank every day. These were the beers that they'd order Friday and Saturday night when they went out to the bars. And they weren't, not in my neck of the woods, some parts of the country they would, but where I grew up in California, they weren't referred to as pubs at the time. It was bars or lounges. Or taverns and a couple saloons. But you didn't hear the term pub very often. So I'm going to finish this baby up in about 5 minutes. Mostly because I just didn't want to get any warmer. This time the Beer Whisperer, and I'm going to be back, baby. Well, howdy do, guys and gals. Guys and gals, I just went 70s AM DJ on you. Oh, orgasmic. It is National Beer Day. So I said earlier that, there's some floaties in the Fatheads. I didn't realize that. Look, there's some shit going on in there. I poured it slower if I'd realized that. I poured it all in there. That's okay. I don't mind chewing a little bit. I do love Fatheads. I've had this beer a couple times now. That's why I wasn't doing a beer specific or a video specifically for it. I thought I'd throw it in there. This one came from Mark Pyle. Got several Ohio beer friends that send me stuff, beer trades. I reciprocate. This is one of my favorites. I love this beer. Let me read just a touch from their bottle here. The magical hops cast their spell, the natives chant, and the drums beat. Witchcraft, maybe just a little. Hop juju. It's a supernatural beer with the reckless use of hops, creating aromas, flavors, citrus, pine, and tropical fruit with the juicy, resiny hop finish. Yeah, a lot of tropical fruit on the aroma for sure. I'm getting a whole lot of mango and pineapple early on. There is some pine without a doubt. It's one of those that starts mellow on your palate, believe it or not, but then just freaking attacks you. It just keeps growing like the blob. It just keeps growing in there. Holy shit, man. I wanted to kind of encompass, a few different beers on National Beer Day. I mean, I started with the Heineken, obviously. It partly was a situation. Well, I had a glass. I wanted to buy the beer for the glass, but it's very hot and humid. I wanted something I knew I was going to drink very quickly and not sit and enjoy, so that was the perfect beer for that. Now I wanted something to just whack my taste buds clear, just slap them around, mess them up beyond recognition. Foobar, fucked up beyond all recognition. This beer certainly does that. It is 9%. It is 100 IBUs. And despite that, despite how big it is, despite how much alcohol, it still manages to be bright, crisp, clean, and refreshing. It sure does all of that. It is one of my everything that I've been sent from them, I've just thought was fantastic. I love the Headhunter. The Hop Juju is beautiful. There's one brewery that I really want to visit. There's some others that I've been sent from breweries that I really like. Of course, Great Lakes. But this one is just Fatheads. Just blows me away. My friend Mark Pyle had mentioned he'd also sent me some beers from Lavery that are out of Erie, Pennsylvania, I believe. And that's one I like to hit because he sent me some great beers from them too. This thing is fantastic, though, and I inevitably get asked, how does it compare to the Pliny or Heady? Now, I've only had those two beers once. This is now my second time having this. But I think they're all three different beers. I don't like the comparison. I mean, they are generally the same category, I suppose, double or imperial IPAs, but they're all three completely different. They all three have completely different flavor profiles. I think that all three are trying to accomplish different things. That's why I hate comparisons. It makes me nuts. So, because it depends. I mean, if I went to a market and I can only pick one of those three, you can have one bottle of any of those three. The one I pick is going to depend on my mood that day. If I wanted something very fruity, bright, and crisp, I'd probably go with the Pliny. It is the lighter bodied of the three. There is something intangible about that beer that's hard to explain. But it's not as complex as the other two. Now, I'm not saying that as an insult. It's just the way it is. It's not as complex. The Heady just puts everything together in a package so well. It just blows your socks off. But this one is just, it's bigger. It just lifts you up into a whole other dimension. That's what makes it special. So I'm the maybe you've had enough to drink, Tom. This is my second beer. I'm going to try to be back with one more. Well, how do you do, y'all? It is still, it's still, man. It's still National Beer Day, and I've decided I'm going to do 4 beers today, mostly because I have one more glass I want to show you, other than this one I've got right now. So I have the Four Hands Contact High. It's a big hopped wheat ale. It's kind of a slightly cloudy gold in there. Let me show it to you. Yeah, it doesn't say Blue Moon on the glass. Don't hold that against me. Don't be a glassware snob. If you want to be a beer snob, that's your business. But if you're worried about what name's on the glass, your snobbery is way out of control. No, this is another one of those my wife found at a DAB store, and I'm all about glassware, man. I just thought it was a neat looking glass too. She found it there. So anyways, 5%. It's a wheat ale that they use. I think their words are copious amounts of Pacific Northwest hops, and it's dry hopped with orange zest, making it a perfect spring summer beer. And the aromas, wow, the aromas are a bright, I'll flame out on you, bright orange. Oh yeah, flavors are beautiful. Oh yeah, big orange. This is one of those beers. It's got big flavor, but it's easy drinking. It is 5%, so some people are going to say it's not a session beer. I don't know, man. I just don't take it that seriously. Some say 4, some say 4.5. I don't know, man. Everybody's got an opinion. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, so alienate everybody. Well, I mean, look, if you're going by strict tradition, if you're going by British tradition, how the session beer came about, well, then okay, you're going to stop at 4%. But if you're going to say that over time words evolve, well, then, you can say, well, as an American, we look at session drinking different than they do in Europe. So you can certainly make a case, I think you can anyway, for 5% or even higher if you really want to. But most American beers are right around that 5%, well, before craft, but you know what I'm saying, right around that 5% neighborhood. I think a serious argument could be made for that, but I'm not going to make one because I don't care. That's my whole point, my whole argument about that whole session argument. I've seen these big-ass arguments where people are almost going to blows over what percentage ought to be session strength. I mean, I've seen nastiness on social media where people are calling each other names over. My whole point is, does it really matter? And the answer to me is no, it doesn't. Drink whatever the fuck you want. Call it whatever you want. It just doesn't damn matter. And now, having said all that, alienate everybody, will you? Yeah, this is the reason I was going to use the term session is because it is easy drinking. It has nothing to do with the ABV, the way it drinks, the way it feels, the way it presents itself. This would be the perfect beer to bring to a barbecue or picnic. It'd also be a beer, even though it is a little assertive and rather hoppy, it is one that I have presented to non-craft beer drinkers because of its drinkability, because of that big orange. It isn't, it's not the same thing as a Blue Moon or any of that mass-produced crap. This is a whole other animal that's made right. So if I can get them to drink a beer like this, then I can get them to go up the ladder and do something else, and that's the point. And also, the great thing about drinking a beer like this is when you burp, you get these beautiful orange burps. It just tastes like orange. Oh yeah, orange. Oh. So anyways, I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. This is National Beer Day. I'm going to have one more, man. Well, howdy do, y'all. So this is my last beer for National Beer Day, and I wanted to do this last one because of the glass. I'm using one of my favorite beers, the Piney River Mule Team Double IPA. It is 10% 100 IBUs, I believe. Oh, it is gorgeous. There you go. My wife found this glass. It's kind of a Pilsner looking glass with a handle. I hadn't seen anything quite like it before. Now, what the hell? I can dig it. Again, one of those DAV finds. I would say probably 80%, I guess, because I have bought some glassware from brew pubs and breweries and such. But I would say probably 80% of the glassware I have has come from, thrift stores and garage sales and such, because that's where you really find the finds. That's where you get the good finds, man. Oh, I love this beer. I really do. It is, it seems like that the two IPAs that really get the most fuss are Pliny the Elder and Heady Topper, and both are great. They really are for what they do. This one I love because it goes a completely different direction. This is only the second year for this IPA, and they know what the trends are. These folks at Piney River are pretty damn smart. They make some pretty good beer, and they've won a lot of awards for it. They're one of those tiny breweries that and that really have made some noise in the craft beer industry. So they know where the trends are. So they could have done that typical Citra Mosaic, blah, 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 IPA, double IPA that everybody else is doing. But they didn't. They decided to craft an identity of their own and make this big, bad, copper double IPA masterpiece. It has a lot of malt. It has a lot of hops. It's not that big, fruity, crisp, beer. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but this one is, in my opinion, what the double IPA started out to be, a big, assertive monster, and that's what this is. It's big and assertive. It's in your face. It's not subtle in any way from the malt in or the hop in. In every direction, this thing grabs your attention. The aroma, the nose is extremely aromatic, and it's extremely assertive. There is a lot of pine, a lot of juniper-like notes on the nose, along with some monstrous citrus. The malt is huge. You get this tad bit of sweetness, but not a lot. Last year's model had a lot of sweetness. This year's doesn't. But the malt end is huge. You got this big toasted malt character going on, and then the hops just attack you from every frickin' direction imaginable. You get huge pine, you get huge citrus, you get huge... I get this itch on my fucking nose. There we go. It's the time of the year. My pollen has been brutal here in the Ozarks, and my allergies been kicking my ass. So sorry for picking my nose on camera. I apologize, man. I've been bad. So anyway, focus on the beer. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It really is. That's one thing I like about it, is because it doesn't try to be like everybody else. It didn't follow the trend. It carved its own path, and that's why this is a great brewery. I mean, this is their 4th anniversary. Four. They've only been around 4 years. They've already won a shitload of prestigious awards. This brewery is going places. They have they've just started a big expansion over there. They are humming, man. So I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. I haven't drank a lot of beer for this particular video, but I really wanted to show you the glass. I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. Happy National Beer Day. Drink up.